We're good.
All right, prop the mic, PTM. We're live, coming back to you on a Monday. We're bringing Tim Trad back for another special guest appearance. Happy to have you as always, Tim. Energy levels will be up. Looking at some, we got conference semifinals for NBA and NHL going on. Had some Game 7 last night, and actually, we had 2 Game 7s for both sports yesterday, right? So a lot of good Sunday sports viewing. How you boys doing?
I'm doing all right. I won't bring up Mason Plumlee at all today, I promise.
Yeah, let's.
Did not go well for rotation. They couldn't even sit him to give us the void. He just came in early or late first period and then never played again. So that was tough. Other than that, I'm doing great.
You know what? You won't have to even contemplate playing him because he's in Cancun right now.
Yep.
Playing golf.
Well
deserved.
All right. You guys ready to get going?
We're ready. Let's rock and roll.
All right. So let's start off with some hoops, and then we'll finish up with a couple picks for hockey. We're gonna start with Pacers Knicks. That's the first game of the night. Game 1 of the series. Knicks are -5.5 at home, playing in the Garden. Totals 217.5, which in the regular season that would be a low-scoring game, but for the playoffs, that's actually a relatively high-scoring projection. So should see some points here. Just a reminder, these teams played 3 times during the regular season. Pacers won 2 out of 3, which is notable because they did win 140-126 in the Garden. So they've got some experience winning on the road. Although the Pacers in general are not a very good road team. So we'll see how that plays out. Got a bunch of storylines. Got obviously Obi Toppin coming back to the Garden. So we'll talk about that in a minute. You got Brunson playing out of his mind. We're going to talk about his enormous points line for today. So let's dive into it. Tom, you want to start with your favorite pick?
Yeah. What do you want to start with? You want to start with on the Knicks side, Isaiah?
Yeah. Start with the Knicks.
All right, let's go with Hardenstein here. So we got 2 different ways. Dave and I had a little pre-meet here, so we went through the slate and kind of came up with a couple picks that we were both on. So we like Hardenstein assists, and we also like PRA. Let's start with the assists. It's an interesting one.
I love a big assist.
There we go. Speaking of Mason Plumlee, right? We can lead right into that. Yeah. So his line's 2.5 assists. It's come down a little bit. It's a little bit better there. It was -142 on both FanDuel and DK earlier in the day. So getting a little bit more value there. If you look in the Philly series, in the 3 home games, he had 3, 4, and 4 assists in the 3 games played at Madison Square Garden. Against the Pacers, it's even nicer. This is why Dave and I locked on this play earlier. Take that home filter off. There you go. Look at him against the Pacers this season. Just unbelievable. So loving this play for Hardenstein. Do you have something to add, Dave?
No, I think the funny thing is we put out in the Discord earlier like a summary of how every player has performed in this series, and it was very surprising to see that Hartenstein led the team in assists in the 2 games that he played. So yeah. I think he had more assists than Brunson in one of them, and then I think Brunson also had 6 in one of them. So that's really surprising, but I think it's a trend that we can take advantage of. The Pacers are not a great defensive team, but they do have a bunch of big men to throw at the Knicks bigs, right? They got Miles Turner is their starter, and then they've got a few guys behind him that can jump in if he gets in foul trouble. So I think Hartenstein will get the ball. I think the Pacers are going to try everything they can to stop Brunson, but Brunson's going to score, and Hartenstein's going to be kicking out to him a bit in this game. So
yes, sir.
All right, so that's take 1. Hartenstein over 2.5 assists. Beautiful that the line is coming down, getting more value.
Yep.
What else do we like on Hartenstein?
So we liked his PRA as well. The reason we like that, so if you remember going back to this season, I mean, the Pacers were the team to avoid 3-point shooters against. They allowed consistently throughout the entire season, like the fewest 3-point attempts in the league. But where they did give up a lot of points is at the rim. Obviously, when you got a guy like Miles Turner, who is your center, makes it tough to defend at the rim a bit. So we went on to cleaning the glass, and we're kind of digging into, so who on the Knicks, who's going to do this scoring at the rim? Who's going to do this scoring in short mid-range? So Hartenstein is right up there. Besides Mitchell Robinson, who I think Dave and I made a proclamation that there's no more bets allowed on Mitchell Robinson this postseason. So he just is off the board for us. We're going to go to Hartenstein. He takes 73% this season. 73% of his shot attempts came at the rim, and the other 25% came from short mid-range, which is within 4 feet of the basket. So basically, 98% of his shots are in the paint down there, and shot really well. So I think he's shooting, pulling it up on cleaning the glass here. He shot 70% at the rim, 54% from short mid-range, which is actually the short mid-range is even better. Amongst bigs, that's in the 90th percentile. So really efficient scorer down there. So I think you combine that with this nice assist trend against Indiana and the scoring at the rim, which the Pacers allow. Combine those together, tack on some rebounds. His lines was at 21 and a half. As long as he doesn't get into foul trouble, I love this. What do you think? You're on mute, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. What do you think, Tim, about this one?
I support it. Give me bets on big guy assists. Points, rebound, assists make sense, but I'm all about the assists.
Yeah, I think I don't know. Tom and I were having a discussion earlier. I think the Pacers need to figure out a way to stop Brunson. We're going to talk about him in a second, but he's scored nearly 40 points against them in the last 2 matchups. I think that's going to open up opportunities for guys like Hartenstein, guys like OG, or they won't, right? Or they'll just accept Brunson scoring 40 and shut everybody else down. So the point of that is, like, this is game 1. We don't really know how this is going to play out. So I love this play, but I would go into everything that we're talking about here cautiously as we kind of get our feel for how game 1 is going to play out, and then we'll get some strategy under our belt after one game.
Yeah.
So
I remember the other reason I didn't dig into the rebounds too much, but Bobby Portis had an 18 rebound game, a 10 rebound game, and a 15 rebound game against Indiana in round 1. So that was also putting us onto this big guy, / power forward rebound. So put them all together. Let's go. All
right, let's talk about somebody on the Pacers. I alluded to him in the start of the show. What do you guys think about Obi Toppin returning to the Garden? Knicks traded him. Young superstar in the making. Well, young star in the making. Won't give him.
Yeah, let's go. Pump
young star in the making,
and
just didn't fit into Tibbs' system, so he ships him off to the Pacers, and he's had success against the Knicks in the 3 games that he's played. Let's take a look at Obi.
And gets to play against his brother, who'll be riding the bench for the Knicks.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he needs more motivation, but yes. So let's take a look at we put this play out in the Discord earlier today, and we were able to get a little bit more value, but it's still plus money at this point. So what I like is just the way he finished the series against Milwaukee. At 9.5 points, he cleared that in 4 straight games against Milwaukee. And the exciting part, if you go on props.cash down to the minutes, his minutes were rising in the last 2 games, right? 22.8 minutes, 24.8 minutes, 24.5 minutes. So we're thinking he's going to play 20 to 22 minutes today. If you look at how he's performed against New York, of course, he's perfectly priced at 9.5 when he cleared 9 points in 2 out of the 3. But this 12.1 was the only game. Was a game in the Garden. So I think he certainly is capable of rising to the to the occasion. And his minutes too in these games, for the most part, were kind of on par with what we should see today. 20 minutes there, 22 minutes in that big game, and then only 17 minutes in that last one where he scored 9. So he's averaging about half a point per minute. So we're thinking if he continues to play consistently like he has, he gets 20 minutes tonight, 22 minutes, he'll finish somewhere around 10 to 11 points. So not huge margin, but pretty good considering we get a plus money play for this one. So you guys like Obi back in the Garden?
Yeah. What's not
Seems
to
like
love?
a really good alt, like save a few points, with that 9 there.
Yeah.
Something like a little 2-leg, like even cross-sport, like with the hockey tonight. You could take like a 3.5 total in hockey and 6+ on him and get something right about the same. That's kind of what I would look at.
Yeah.
But I love the story. I love the comeback story.
Yeah, we're always good. We always love a good narrative. So, yeah, I would say if you're going to alt Obi down, I think if you bring him all the way to 6, you're probably not going to get a lot of value. But I think at 8 points, he's a home run.
Yeah, there you go.
So I think at 8 points and pair him with something else we talked about, alt it down or cross sport and head over to the ice. I think that could be a good move as well.
Yeah.
All right, so that's that. So
it sounds more personal for you than anything else, though.
It is a little personal.
Yeah. I like it.
I mean, listen, the guy, he wasn't one of the guys who requested out. He just, he didn't fit into the system, I guess, and he wasn't getting enough playing time. So no hatred for Obi. And I actually like his game. I think he's a lot of fun to watch. He's high energy kind of guy. And,
yes.
Cashed the other day real early.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so there's 3 other players that I think are worth talking about in this game because they're like the 3 players who are going to score, right? So you've got Siakam, who's primary shooter on the Pacers. You got Halliburton, who's the primary ball handler, right, but can also score, and then you've got Brunson, who's just a beast for the Knicks. So if we pull up on Props.Cash, kind of what their straight lines are. Let's start with Brunson because I know a lot of people are on Brunson today. 35.5 points, mostly because the last 2 games against the Pacers, he put up 40 and 39. So that line scares me, especially for game 1. Tom, you want to share with everybody kind of what you were saying to me earlier about minutes for games 1 and 2 and kind of being cautious there?
Yeah. So, I mean, if you see, you look at the first 3 games of the series against Philly, they kind of ease into it. They started at 30 minutes, 34 minutes, 36 minutes. But once you hit game 4 and it's I don't know if Brunson's the best example, but yeah, you definitely see an upward trend there. So I think what's happening is you're getting lines just in general inflated from the last couple games of a series when it's all hands on deck, guys playing 44, 46, 50 minutes for Brunson in that overtime game. So I think, a lot of these lines are a little bit juiced up. So to play overs, especially with scoring down and the point totals not being so high, I think maybe we take a little bit of a wait and see here and kind of avoid these juiced up lines a bit, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he scored 22 and 24 in the first 2 games of the Philly series. And, as crazy as this sounds, he only played 41 minutes and 38 minutes in those 2 games, right? Which are low compared to the 45 plus, 43 plus that he was playing in the rest of the series. So his baseline in the Tibbs system is insane, right? He plays, 38 minutes guaranteed, but yeah, I think 35.5 points could be a little bit of a trap for tonight.
Yeah, I think if you pull up OG Anunoby and just kind of click on his minutes, and you can kind of this is like a perfect example of the trend that I'm talking about here, where you're seeing. I mean, he is the guy, especially that I think this is kind of where we realize this. Yeah, look at that trend. That was game 1, that 31.5 right there. So you're seeing him, and if you look at his actual line that you could click on Props.Cash, you could see early on in the series, he was at 14.5. he went down to, in game 3 right here, his line was 10.5 points. And then he just went hot. And now even in games 5 and 6, his line was 13.5, 14.5. And now we're getting his line at 16.5. So you're seeing he's just doing that. So another example of a line kind of being inflated from the end of a series with minutes being as high as they were.
Yeah, I agree. So what does that all that mean? I think it means that we'd like to kind of approach these superstars with a bit of a builder for today. So here's what we threw out. We threw out Brunson. There's 2 ways you can go on. Let's start with DraftKings. Brunson 30 points, Siakam 15 points, and Halliburton 15 points. Those are really 3 of the main scorers out on the floor. You put those 3 together, you can get plus 108. And you can get a similar variety of that on FanDuel for about the same value. So, Tim, what do you think about those 3? Brunson 30, Siakam 15, Halliburton 15.
The only thing that scares me is that the Brunson thing you guys are talking about with the superstars, 35.5 is such a wild line to be just a standard sports. Yeah, I mean, normally you see 35 plus, it's like plus 400 on FanDuel. Now, I understand everything you're just saying, that everything goes through him. But 30 is such a wild alt line to me. That's the only concern.
Yeah.
I have. It's just like that for that to be an alt does not register in my brain.
I hear you. His Brunson to score 40 points was, I think, like plus 200.
It's fucked up. It's kind of like in hockey. There's a couple guys like they don't even have the single point. It's like 1.5 points is juice. And everybody else, this is what that feels like to me. As it should happen, the same as McKinnon or Connor McDavid would have 2 points in a game. But it's just wild to think that that's the standard so high for them. That's as low as 30. So that's the only thing that scares me, is seeing a 30-point line in a builder. I think that'd be the first time that's ever happened.
Yeah, I mean 35-point lines are like reserved for Luka.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So,
it's exactly like that. Yeah.
All right, so fair enough. So Tim's passing on the builder. We'll probably
No. I'll ride it with you. I'm saying if I had to find a concern, I'm a Knicks fan now with you guys and
Let's
basically
go.
everybody else in the playoffs. So I want to see. I just like the story. It's been a lot of fun. I think that overtime game and the comeback and all that heart. It was just so much fun.
Yeah.
And being in Central Ohio, we don't really have a LeBron anymore.
I'm not really sure why I wore my Brooklyn Nets hat on the pod today to talk about.
I was questioning that myself, Dave.
Kind of a questionable move there.
They seem like a fun team to see some success, and watching Jalen Brunson just dominate. It's a lot of fun. So I'll ride it with you.
But I think you can play around with that too, especially maybe later in the day as some more lines open up on DraftKings or whatever book you use. If you did like Brunson 29 or 28 points, I think I had here Brunson 29, so you're kind of avoiding that hook. Siakam at 16, Halliburton at 14, and that's minus 115. So I think those 3 are nice to put in the builder together, and you can kind of tweak it around as you see fit.
Yeah. Absolutely. So I would say if you're gonna play like 3 units tonight, put out like 1 maybe on the Knicks game, and then put the other 2 on the T-Wolves Nuggets game.
Yeah, let's get some data from this next game before we hammer it.
Exactly. All right, so let's move on. We got the T-Wolves at the Nuggets. Nuggets are minus 5.5 at home. Total is 207.5, so a lower scoring game. We all know Minnesota won the first game 106-99. So this is like kind of like a game 7 almost for Denver, right? If they lose this game and they go to Minnesota to play 2 in Minnesota, like down 0-2, that's not a great spot to be in. Ant had a monster game, put up 43 points. Jokic was somewhat inefficient, even though he put up 32, 8, and 9.
So inefficient.
Yeah, what a bum. So let's start off. Tom, what do you like in this one?
You want to start with Jokic?
Yeah, start with Jokic.
I don't think we need to say too much. This is we were playing this all last postseason when this line was at 53.5, 54.5. His points, rebounds, and assists. It's 51.5, I believe, tonight here.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up. I just got to go go to the right game.
Yeah. So it might even be creeping up to 52 here. It looks like BetMGM kind of lags behind a little bit here. It probably opened up at 49.5. He had 49 in that previous game. I don't think you need to get into it too much more. To go down 0-2 in your 2 home games, Jokic is not letting that happen. I think a triple double also could be nice for him here. At a rebound line of 12.5, he only had 8 rebounds in that previous game. We also have the possibility Gobert just popped up on the injury report as questionable with personal issues. Even if Gobert does play, I still like that. And what did he have? 9 assists in the previous game. So I think you see a lot of Jokic tonight across the board, and love his PRA here.
Yeah, what do you think, Tim?
Man, I thought that Denver was a shoo-in, and then I watched the end of that first game, and so I'm not betting anything on this one. I'm just going to kind of pay attention to see what happens because, like you said, if Denver drops, I think that ticket that you're holding for the future of Minnesota looks really good. Isn't that you that shared the plus 1700 Minnesota future?
It is, and the crazy part is I put that in after game 2 against Phoenix. It wasn't even like that was a ticket I put in.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah, a long time ago. That was game 2 against Phoenix. I think the start of the game, put that one in, and then once they went up 2-0, it started changing.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
I mean, I'm always a big fan of taking an underdog team that's good defensively because they're gonna give Denver a lot of problems, and Denver struggled on the defense. Obviously, they couldn't shut Edwards down in the first half, and then once they started to kind of put more pressure on him, everybody else started scoring. Naz Reid went off, Mike Conley went off, so I think they got some problems. I don't know. I could see Denver winning tonight, but I could also see them losing. I wouldn't say that they're a sure thing of winning. So, yeah, all right. So Jokic is our first play there. Tim, what were you gonna say?
I just said, yeah, I'm just more curious. I'm curious to see what happens. I like Michael Porter Jr. to turn around. He seems to be. I wouldn't say reliable. I'd say in games like this, he seems to step up and at least hit his minimums. Like the 2 threes, 6 rebounds kind of stuff. I'd like him as a cornerstone in an alt if that's what I was looking for.
Yeah, so
that'd be my spot.
Yeah, we love playing MPJ, although he frustrates the hell out of us because
exactly.
Because when you think he's a shoe-in for 5 rebounds, he puts up 4. So, but
that's the thing with guys, though. You know what I mean? When you get the alts, those really good wagons, the thing that keeps them on the fringe of value are those blow-up games. That's why their numbers don't shoot up to 35.5 because they'll just shit the bed on you. And it always seems to be in the absolute worst possible, most inconvenient. I don't know if there's a convenient time to lose bets, but for me at least, it's always fashion that they do it. So yeah, I love them and I love to hate them sometimes too.
The most convenient bets to lose are the 10 p.m. games because I usually don't wake up. I usually don't stay up for the whole game. So, all right. So let's talk about MPJ. You were just saying a good builder. We did put out a builder in the Discord earlier today on MPJ. Let's take a look at his lines. So he had a pretty good game. Scoring wise, he put up 20 points in that game. 1 rebounding wise, he put up 6 rebounds. So we put out a play for MPJ, actually 15 points and 6 rebounds in this game, which gets you close to plus money, which we really like. I think he's in a good spot to score 18 plus points. But if you look at his first half, second half splits, he scored 13 of his 20 points in the first half when Jamal Murray scored 0, and he only scored 7 points in the second half. So if Murray comes out scoring like he did at the end of that game, that's going to take away shots away from Porter. So that's why I also agree. Go with a builder on this one and take his points down to like 15, 14 or 15 if you can get that, and then tack on 6 rebounds. He's going to play 38 plus minutes tonight, so he should get 6 rebounds.
Yeah,
I like it.
All right. Who else? Tom.
Christian Brown.
Okay.
All right. Christian Brown points. We just like this guy. He brings nice energy to the team, plays consistent minutes. If you look, he's not one of these guys like, Naz Reid on the other side of the ball, played like 7 minutes in the first half, and then he got hot in the second half, and they rode him. Christian Brown, you have it right there. I think he played 9.5 in the first half, 9.5 in the second half. That's his spot in the rotation. Mike Malone's mostly just going to keep it that way. Super high energy guy at a line of 4.5. I love it. He had 7 in the first game against Minnesota. I could see for sure something very similar. 3 of his last, it's his 3 straight games again. Right there, you go. And 4 or 5, 8, like super consistent for 7, 8, 9 points. Love this play.
Yeah. I know, Tim, you'll be excited about any play that's 4.5 points. You and I were raised in the same gambling school.
Yeah. Give me 2.5, so a 3-pointer covers it. I love a 1 shot can cover the whole total.
Yeah, 1 shot. How about you can get like a 3-pointer and fouled and a technical? There you go.
That's the PJ Tucker special right there.
Yeah.
Yes. I was going to look up. If I recall, I think Brown plays like a continuous 8 minutes too, which I think
is nice. Yeah.
Which is nice. Like some of these guys will play, 16 minutes in a game, but that's broken up into 4 chunks. The guys who get to basically come in and just do an 8-minute long run, I think really helps for, getting, you don't waste 3 minutes warming up and then you're back on the bench. So this he's pretty dynamic. He'll either put up another 7 points tonight or he'll put up 0. So I think I think he's worth the flyer. Minus 115 for 5 points is nice.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Want to talk about your boy Mike Conley?
Yeah, Mike Conley. I'm so proud of my Mike Conley win the other day because. So first of all, Mike Conley has been in the league. Guess how many years?
15, 13, something like that.
7. This is 17th season in the league.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he's almost as old as all of us. The guy's 36 years old, and he's never won a championship, right? So I like finding those guys, like guys who aren't like washed up, but guys who are still starting. They're like late in their career. They know that this could be their last shot, or to make a run. He's on a team that really has the potential to win it all. So his motivation is high. You saw it in the Sun series. He played really well. Let's pull him up on props.cash. Right. So in the we can use the playoff filter just to look at playoffs, right? So in the Sun series, he played really well. He had 18 points, 1 game, 15. He had 10, 14 against Denver the other day. Again, against Denver, he scored 0 in the first half, and he scored all 14 points in the second half. He just went off in the third quarter. So we had played Mike Conley 10 points and 3 rebounds actually the other day, and he got in the full game. He ended up getting 4 rebounds, which he's done consistently in the playoffs as well, and he ended up with 14 points. So that was an easy cash. If you want to ride that again, I think that's a good play. Like I said, he's cleared 10 points in 4 straight games. Denver's not particularly great at rebounding against opposing guards. So I think, if you want to play that, or you want to play his straight up points, 11.5, play the guy who's like super motivated. And Denver's going to have to put a lot more attention on Anthony Edwards. So maybe that opens up some shots for Conley and Naz Reid and guys like that. What do you think?
Yeah, I love the narrative here of like the guy, like the last chance of the guy who's not washed up yet, and to really try to cement his career. I think this is a great spot for him. And point guards against Denver is a spot we've been targeting all season. I mean, it's definitely DVP wise was one of the positions that we'd go back to over and over again. So yeah, I like this.
All right, and so I think. When you look at Anthony Edwards, his line is 28.5, right? So that's gone up a bit. I think it was maybe 25.5 or something like that the last game. I don't know if he'll get there the full amount. Again, his first half, he had 25 points against Denver. His second half, he had 18. So, I mean, those are still both impressive numbers. So you can play Anthony Edwards at 28.5, or you can run back our play from the Discord the other day of Edwards 25 and Jokic 25, which was plus 120 the other day. It'll probably be closer to even money. So, Tim, if you had to choose one, Edwards 28.5 or Jokic 25 and Edwards 25, what would you like?
I like the 25-25 personally, but as a from Columbus, an Ohio State guy, I want to pull for Mike Conley the most in this one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the 25-25. I think Jokic has to score 25 if they have any chance of winning, and I could see them focusing on Anthony Edwards and him hitting 26 instead of 28, or it's like falling right in that small gap. So I like the insurance.
I like that's a good way of putting it. A little insurance for game 2.
Mm-hmm.
So
we're trying to win. You know what I mean? We're not trying to get the extend those odds. I'm just trying to win. I'm trying to profit. So the most advantage we can give ourselves, and that feels like it's a little bit there. But you do open yourself up for the Michael Porter Jr. style games where Anthony Edwards, just shits the bed, or vice versa.
Yeah, no, I agree. But I think Jokic 25 is safe, and Edwards should get there too. So.
And are we not feeling Jamal Murray in this game? I know he missed every shot he took in that first half.
I'm so done with Jamal Murray right now.
Every shot he took in the first half of the game, he did all 17 points. So it's like, did he just have he did have a terrible first half. I mean, he missed everything. And did he figure something out in the second half? And we're getting a line that's a little depressed on Murray here. What do you guys think? Tim, obviously, I hear is done. Dave, what do you think?
I'm done with him.
Here's what we're gonna do. I'm not playing 22.5.
You're gonna live bet this guy.
I'm live bet. Look at the first half, second half splits in the playoff. Yeah. 8.7 points on average in the first half, and 14 points on average in the second half. So
that's very notable.
Yeah, you can probably get Murray if he repeats that. This is why I love having a strategy going into the game for a guy to bet at halftime. Is like, it's the Jordan Love play. We did this for football all the time for Jordan Love. Like if he comes out and he scores 10 points in the first quarter, so what? You didn't bet anything. You didn't lose anything, right? Mm-hmm. But if he comes out and he has a bad first half, then you strike, right? And you should be able to get it for maybe, if he puts up 6-7 points in the first half, you should be able to get this for around 15, 16 points.
I think so, yeah.
On that. So that's what I'm going to do for Jamal Murray tonight.
All right.
It's a really good strategy with the role players that we like, or we tend to like, is they're not going to start the game in those algorithms that adjust live odds.
Yeah.
Will always come down. So when I was hitting Westbrook, he was like in that 10, 11.5 PRA. By the time he'd go in and be at 9.5 at a better price, even though he had not played, he was still going to get the same amount of minutes. It requires a little bit more on being on top of things and making sure the books list them and whatnot. But if you've got a role player that you're betting straight, just wait, the first 5-8 minutes and then hammer it. Similar to that first half, second half strategy.
Yeah,
love it. Yeah.
It's a really good point. You can do that for any play really, and also some of the books are giving boosts for live bets too. So you can basically wait a couple minutes into the game, role player or even starters. And if somebody who you're on has a slow start, you can jump on it, maybe even take an altered line live if they offer that and get a boost on it and get it at plus 100. So
that's a big thing we did in NFL based on kickoffs, coin flips. If you like a team and the other team, wait till the kickoff, see if the other team gets a ball first.
Yeah.
They score then you hammer that. You'd get like 5 to 7 points in value in the first. Obviously, a lot of things have to happen, but if I really liked a money line or whatever, and the spread was too much, I'd wait to see who get the ball, and then those odds will change very rapidly.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So
Takes a lot of attention, though.
Oh yeah, you got to be on top of it.
You just want to be drunk and watch the game. I get that.
Don't live bet if you're drunk. That's a bad move. You'll regret that when you come out of your.
Are you speaking from personal experience?
No. Tim was telling me about that.
Yeah, I got personal experience for sure.
So what I would say also is we've found a lot of success. We created a channel in the Discord for live bets. So if you are part of the Discord community, make sure you're checking that out. But I've personally found a lot of success in this playoffs betting rebounding props live at halftime. So keep an eye out for those. A lot of guys who have like really big first halves. For example, Paolo Banchero had 7 rebounds with 2 minutes left in the first half. We grabbed that at I think it was 10.5 or 11.5, and he cashed that in the third quarter. So just especially in game 6s, game 7s, where those guys are basically going to play like the full second half. Try to jump on those opportunities. Good value.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's end this round ball conversation. You guys good to move on to hockey?
Can we just throw out one more thing? How do we feel about a Knicks Nuggets money line parlay at plus 102 in FanDuel, plus 104 on DraftKings? How are we feeling about that?
Nuggets have to win this game, so
yeah.
I'm down with that.
Yeah, I think that's
they lose tonight.
That's a great play tonight. Yeah,
I think so. I mean, they're both minus 5.5. So I don't see either of them losing, but we'll see. I don't know. I think the T-Wolves make it competitive. I think the Knicks game could be more of a blowout. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully, me wearing a Nets hat did not jinx that.
So, hopefully, you saved it.
All right, let's move over to the ice. Tim, this is all you because Tom and I know nothing about hockey. So give us your thoughts on. I guess first, before you even give out picks for today. So there was a game 7 last night, right? Vegas and Dallas.
There was. Dallas moved on
that one, yeah.
Dallas is able to move on. So what I've noticed, the trend I've noticed with playoff hockey is a different breed. But a lot like these basketball series, they play up to 7, and I think teams figure each other out. So we were hammering totals early, a lot of goals. The series would start off with a lot because, I mean, these are some of the best teams. And then they always worked they worked their way down to where we had 2 games that were 1-0 or overtime goals and, go from 7, 8, 10 totals to 2. The thing about tonight is this is a game 1. So you have Bruins and Panthers. It's the only game that's on tonight. And I think if we're going to get goals, we're going to get goals early in the series. I know that there's some better goalkeeping in this series than the other ones. We had a guy called Bobrovsky who was in Columbus for a long time. And he left us for Florida because he wanted to be in a cooler market, which is what happens to us all the time. And in the playoffs, he's been staying on his head. However, these are 2 teams. If you go to points for the prop, there are go to points and then hit the head-to-head for me. I want to show you one little anomaly I found when I was researching this earlier. Just the verse opponent on the graph part.
Oh, just the head.
Yeah, hit the verse opponent.
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
There you go. Vladimir Tarasenko. He's got this. I mean, it goes back a couple years, that 86%. But if you want to click on him, the guy on the top for Florida, he would be kind of like a sneaky play. He just loves, they got to hit that head-to-head at 86%. He hasn't played him a lot, but when he does, he likes to score points. And again, this is over like 3 seasons, so I wouldn't take this straight to the bank. But at plus 114 to 125 on stuff, I think that there's a decent little look here. What I'm looking at, though, is round 1, playoff hockey. We're going to the Stars. So there's a couple combinations you can take here. Matthew Tkachuk scored points in 8 straight. If Florida does anything, it goes through him. I'm putting him in there. And then I'm pairing him with either David Pastrnak, or Brad Marchand. And if you look at get the graphs pulled up.
Yep.
Yeah, look at Pasta. There you go. It goes through Pasta and then Marchand, which we all love to hate. He's the guy that you would hate to have, or that you hate to play against, but would love him on your team. He has been, there we go. He's been on a little bit of a quiet streak. He tore up Toronto, and this one I'm talking about like 4 straight games, and then the final 3 they figured him out.
Oh wow.
So I think we get back to the early set where we're scoring goals, and teams haven't figured themselves out yet. So I'm looking at the stars. Any combination of Sam Reinhart, Barkov, Kachuk for Florida, and then Marchand and Pasta, the only 2 that I'm looking at for Boston. But my favorite combo would be Kachuk and Marchand at like plus, I think you're getting plus 130 to plus 140, depending on the book. And then you can even get right now on 365 or on FanDuel, Kachuk and Pasta, if you want to go really, really chalky, the 2 main guys is still plus 105. So you're taking basically Jokic and Anthony Edwards 20 plus, or like almost 15 plus in expected performance. And then Marchand is all the way down to minus 130 on some books. He's at like minus 140 on FanDuel right this second. And so his stock is dropping because of those games. I don't hate him straight up to score a point tonight. And most of his points, if you click on power play points, every game that he had one. So you're getting those at like plus 180 to 210. So if you were to take Marchand straight at the minus 145, I think it is very acceptable to take his power play point at like plus 200 for a smaller bet. And then feel free to combine him and basically any of the top line from Florida. But I really think Matthew Tkachuk is just the safest bet. So I'm going Marchand and Tkachuk, and I'm going Tkachuk and Pasta. And then you could do a round robin or get all crazy if you want, but I'm just keeping it straight up because the first 4 games of the playoffs in that round, we crushed it. And then as you see, all the scoring dropped off, and so we were hitting points hard. So I think I'm just going to load up on the early games of this series, these 2 series, see where it goes, and then maybe take game 3 or 4 off and see what's up. But one more thing, if you wanted to add in the totals, you can boost any of these plays with like an over 3.5. I think there's going to be these teams played twice. They had like 6 and 7 goals, and it's game 1. So I think this game you see this is this game where you see a lot of goals. If this series is going to have that same arc of high scoring and then all the way down to zeros, get it in early.
Nice.
So that was a lot, I think. But once you start getting into those different books and finding the discrepancies in the lines, you can really get some chalk like Pasta and Tkachuk for plus 105. That feels almost too good to be true. So that would be the smack of all of this. And then if you add the 3.5 in, you're getting them at like plus 150 right now on FanDuel. That seems unfair.
I think you just like saying pasta.
Yeah, I do. I would love to eat some pasta right now. These he kind of got a little quiet. I hate Boston, but I'm just looking at this straight from a number standpoint. So it's hard to bet on people that you have just a deep despise for, like Brad Marchand. But as he's maturing in his career, you start finding things that you like in him. And so I'm having this internal turmoil, but I'm just looking at the data, and Boston scores goals. They've been really, really good in the playoffs. And so has Florida. So just go with the studs and let the studs do what they do, you know?
It's like betting on Karl Anthony Towns and D'Angelo Russell. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're getting outline numbers.
I like betting on the guys I don't like personally because then, like, if your bet fails, you bet an over, and the bet fails, then at least it was.
Of course it failed. This guy's
yeah. There's some silver lining in it. So
yeah,
I get that. I appreciate that.
That's cool. I appreciate the hockey picks, and I appreciate you attempting to translate that into basketball terms for us. Well, that was pretty sweet.
One other thing about those correlations. I think what we're talking about we were saying something about the 2 things working together in basketball, but in hockey, you can have 3 people score a point on a single play. So if you're playing 2 players with each other on the same team that play on the same line, or say in a power play grouping, they put a certain people on, and so those like Quinn Hughes and JT Miller were always in the power play for Vancouver, and so taking the 2 of them to score a point can happen on the same goal. So you could have a 1-0 game and still hit 2 points. So that's where betting on opposite studs, you need 2 goals. But if you were to take something like Sam Reinhart and Matthew Tkachuk, they could score together, or Barkov and Tkachuk, for example. Any of those top liners could be on the ice at the same time, and you could cash a 2-point bet with 1 goal. So that's something I really like in hockey.
I love that. I love, like you always talk about, I love potentially cashing a bet on 1 play. That's
what we're talking about. Yeah, hitting the 3 and it being done.
Yep,
There we go. You know what I
exactly.
meant. Yeah. So when you have two players that cash in the same one, that's a pretty solid feeling. And there's a lot of potential for that tonight.
Definitely.
That's all I
All
got, though. Only one game. Keep it simple, and feel free to throw that 3.5 total into any other builder. You know, if you were doing like the 25-25, and you throw a 3.5 on this into that play, you can get a little boost on it because I think the 3.5 is like minus 500.
Oh,
They think it's going to be a low total based on the history of what they've seen. But game one, these teams are going to score against each other. I think the 5.5 at plus money is safe, but I'm not putting it out there. I'm just saying that's what my heart's telling me. But I'm just going with those point combos and putting the 3.5 and everything. 4 total goals feels good.
We did have one question on YouTube. I think this is out of our purview here, asking if we would all have one MLB bet for today, looking at Phillies minus 1.5. I think this is the wrong crew for that bet, but come on over to the Discord. We definitely have some MLB stuff going on over there with some of our other contributors.
I'll make you money in baseball. Take that money and put it on something else, and then stop watching baseball. You'll have a better life, and win your bets. No, we have a ton of baseball guys that for some reason love that sport that America seems to love.
And I will give a little sneak preview. They were all of our baseball contributors were on a certain player on the Pittsburgh Pirates today. So I'll just say that. So come on over.
Name one player. Who's somebody that plays for the Pirates?
Not Bobby Bonilla.
Oh, that's right. I do know him, but he went to the Mets and made a great deal.
All right, guys. Nice work today. I think that does it. We got some nice picks out there. Looking forward quite a bit to these NBA games tonight and the NHL game as well. We'll flip that on for a little bit, but let's lock in these picks. Thanks for joining again, Tim. Always awesome to have you on. And
Hell yeah, thanks for having me.
Let's all make some money tonight.
Let's do it.